Hi, and welcome to the VAHOMA Podcast, episode 16. I'm Tim Abbott. With me is Andrew Smith.
Hello.
And Chris Mason.
Hello, hello.
Bert's not with us because somehow he got talked into climbing a mountain. Sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So basically, this is going to be our second annual E3 episode. Because we did this last year, so technically this is annual now. Yep. So we can say that word.
There you go. I was about to say something about that. just waiting for it. But.
Yeah. So basically, this episode, we're just going to talk about E3 and all the games and stuff. We just got done watching a bunch of the conferences, trailers, etc., etc., etc. Andrew even has his laptop out in front of him, which he's looking really fancy. You can't see that because
someone forgot the camera.
Yeah, I might have forgotten the camera. So we're just going to be a logo on YouTube, and that's about
Going back to our roots.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, going old school. Old school. Yeah, there we go.
We can say that, right?
Sure. All right. So while I was queuing up all the other trailers, first thing we showed off was Mafia 3. That comes out October 7th.
Looks good.
That is my most anticipated game, actually.
Looks GTA-ish.
That's what Mafia is. So, I mean, I loved Mafia 2. And
I enjoyed the soundtrack more than anything else. That was a nice soundtrack.
Yeah, a lot of CCR, which is approved by me.
But yeah, that's what they said, that they have over hundreds of songs that are from that era, in the 68 and in that time frame, that will fit that world.
I definitely like the whole having like your underlings or whatever, and like giving them like territory and stuff like that, and then if they misbehave, you have to deal with them.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
The underboss and stuff. The gameplay we saw was from IGN's. They did a 20-minute gameplay trailer of showing how each area of New Orleans they're all separate, and they all have different things that you eventually go through, and you take out each area, and then once you take it over, you give it to one of your underbosses. And they showed how if you favor an underboss more than the others, that the one that's not, he might get mad at you, and then
like, hey, where's mine?
So then you have to go and deal with him. So, I think it looks cool. I'm excited for it. It's probably my most anticipated game for me. But I also like the idea of New Orleans, because not many games are actually played in New Orleans. So, good job, Andrew.
Sorry, I had
you downed your Chris Karma,
and then I
and
took
our
a drink
custom
of Red Bull.
VAHOMA Podcast glasses.
For some reason, the Red Bull is like, this is Red Bull, and it really has that taste.
If you go to cafepress.com/VAHOMA Podcast shop, you can get your own VAHOMA Podcast glass.
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Too bad there isn't a camera, so we could show that off.
Yeah, I'll make it the picture. I'll make it the head, the thread picture logo thing there. So next we move on to EA's press conference, which
not that much.
EA basically all they did was like, hey, here's Battlefield,
we do stuff.
Here's Titanfall, Mass Effect's coming. Here's an interesting 30-second trailer of something, and then they're like, we're working on Star Wars games.
Look at how much you want these Star Wars games, because we know you guys love that. That was just,
and they're not coming until like 2017 or 20. Like Amy Hennig's the game's not until 2018.
Yeah.
So. They made Battlefront. I mean, hey.
That came out.
Yeah, that was a thing. But they did show Titanfall 2, which
that's why
of the games and everything they showed, I really enjoyed Titanfall. I'm excited for Titanfall 2.
I'm excited to see what they're doing with the single player, because it seems like you have a nice relationship with your Titan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Chris, what are your thoughts?
That's the only thing I was missing. You know, I know they didn't advertise a single-player campaign for the original Titanfall. I enjoyed the multiplayer, but not enough to keep me there. So I'm looking forward to the single-player campaign of the 2. I'm going to give it a shot. It looks interesting.
Yeah. I do think it's weird that EA has basically sent Titanfall to die, like where they put it to release.
Oh, yeah. That's like, just a cluster of
it's like
games.
October 21st is Battlefield 1. October 28th is Titanfall 2. And then November 4th is Call of Duty. So let's
spaced it out.
Let's put Titanfall in between the two biggest shooters that are coming out this fall.
Because Gears is... I can't believe I forgot when Gears is. October.
Beginning of October. You could have released Titanfall in April and save it and release it in
I
April.
feel like late summer probably
Yeah.
would have been a good time for it.
Yeah, release it either earlier than those shooters.
Yeah.
And in August or September, or save it for later and come out in March or April.
Yeah.
You right, Chris?
Still a little sick from the beach.
Sure. It's not the 3 beers and 5 Chris Karmas you've had today?
Nothing to do with the congestion. Maybe with the speech, but nothing congestion.
So, yeah, it really didn't have much. So, moving on. Bethesda had their conference as well. They showed all Quake champions, which none of us are PC gamers of that magnitude and favorite shooters.
I have been
You dabble.
No, I've actually been kind of interested in VR, so
You're going to get like a high-end PC?
I've been pricing things out, but
When you got that kind of money of Andrew, then you just...
That is true. Andrew is a baller.
not that much. I was just testing the watch, just kind of looking at it, but of course there's a subject that's going to pop up later, which might solve that for me.
But yeah, I say that, and then I'm the guy that spent $350 on X-Wing stuff. So, moving on.
I spent that much money on board games before, so I can't say anything.
Yeah. One game.
Not on one game, but
I did. All right. They did the Fallout 4 add-on stuff. So, Andrew, what you got for me?
I'm interested for the Vault Tech stuff, building it. I was listening. Where did I hear this from? But there was small, I think it was from Todd Howard did thing with the Xbox when he was on. But there's for the building the vault stuff, it actually has little missions for you. And during the trailer, it seemed like when you cleared out an area, enemies would pop out and then you have to kill them. So I guess a little hook to get you to get started in it. But then there's Nuka World, which looks interesting. It's a bunch of raiders took over an old amusement park, which is more DLC and stuff like that. I'm probably gonna wait because I haven't touched Far Harbor. I'm probably gonna wait till everything's out before I go into it.
Ooh, Far Harbor.
I've heard Far Harbor's pretty substantial.
Far Harbor rivals Borderlands as far as size of DLC.
Really?
It is huge.
Really?
And I'm enjoying. I just scratched the surface of it as far as story goes, but I like it. There's a whole new story over there. There's a whole new aspect of it, and the map. The only thing which I'm okay with, you have to fast travel to a point on the map, and then take a ship to Far Harbor. And then once you take a ship to Far Harbor, then the map becomes Far Harbor, which is basically at least half, if not 3/4 the size of the original map.
That's a lot.
It is. It's huge.
I haven't looked at anything.
When you look
Far
at it,
Harbor
it's
yet.
huge. All I did was I walked down the road and I found a hotel. And I spent about 10 hours in the hotel because I found a vault. I found a quest. I continued on with the storyline and everything. And next thing I know, it's been 10 hours, on the save game video versus when I came out. And I wasn't even trying. I just went down the road, So I know that was a little extreme because I looked it up and that was one of the things that the IGN had said that, don't miss this because this is a nice little big tidbit of that. But that gives you an idea of how big Far Harbor is. So Far Harbor is a huge DLC and it's going to be very interesting. New enemies and new weapons and new gear.
Yeah, that's one thing I did like. They did They did a little bit of stuff for the Automatron DLC. They added some armor and stuff like that.
But they did, but it was just
they added a weapon too.
It was a smidge.
Yeah.
The DLC took me 2 or 3 tries to get through because there was a couple of sequences where the robots were coming out so fast I couldn't keep up with.
I really at the very end.
The very end, yeah. Other than that, it was a really quick DLC. Far Harbor is a far-reaching story.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. When you get to it, it's going to be you're going to like it.
Yeah, I think because I already. What was my last save on that? 120 something hours over multiple characters. So I'm just gonna taking a good break because I still need to beat them.
The overall for Far Harbor, I like because it gives you a nice piece of story because basically there's a fog all over Far Harbor. Kind of a radioactive fog. It mutates the enemies that you've seen in the regular story. It's mutated them. because it's gotten bigger and bigger, so it's pushed everybody to where you're at Far Harbor. And now the whole island's overcome, and you're trying to figure out what caused the fog. Can you get rid of the fog? That's where the story kind of leads you to. And I'm like, I like there's a big story, but there's a whole lot of other side quests. So again, it just continues what the game already does.
Oh, okay. Well, then I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, moving on. So we also had the Skyrim remaster trailer shown.
And that music.
And I never played Skyrim in general, so but I don't think it's a game.
It's probably not a game for you.
So,
but I just hope that I heard that
it looks really pretty. Yeah, it sounds
they
cool.
went through and fixed like a lot of the typical Bethesda game studios bugs, because last time I tried to play Skyrim, I took a little perk that whenever someone attacks you, you get a second of slow motion to where you like dodge or parry, something like that. And it would lock up and you'd be in that state the whole time. So it's like you're just moving around, walking normally, and everyone's just like slowly moving around. Like, well, I guess I'm done with that, because it's like 40 hours in one character, and it's like, all right.
The thing about Skyrim is it's the quintessential game of what's over this hill, what's over this
definitely.
ridge, what's over the. I got over 60 hours into it, and I have only been like 2% into the story. And I have literally like 40 quests open, because I went through this cave, I went through these woods, I went through this tower, I went to this, because I just kept going left. I mean, I just decided, what's over this way? You know, and you just keep going, and you just open up all these quests and stuff, and a lot of stuff I had no business being in.
Yeah.
I wasn't high enough yet. And then there was like, you know, the way you develop your skills and stuff take time, you know. I'm interested. I'm very interested in it, because it
depends
amazing.
on they didn't announce the pricing on it, did they?
I don't think so, but I don't think it's a full $60 game.
I hope not, because that's.
But
I was playing 64.
Yeah, I feel like it had to have been less, but I don't know.
Well, we can keep on going.
Yep, we'll just keep going. They showed off Prey, which we watched that trailer.
Looks interesting.
Looked creepy, very Dead Space-ish. I would. And that,
Dead Space,
like
good.
that, like creepy feel kind of thing. I was like, it'll probably scare the crap out of me, so I won't play it. But I just don't see how, like, that deals with Prey, because like Prey, you're like the original Prey. You're a Native American that's kidnapped by aliens.
Yeah,
Like you're you're abducted by aliens, and you're going after, and all of a sudden it's like this game's called Prey, and. I was curious why they chose
I'm having a
Prey
hard time
to call
with
it.
it, because I keep associating it with the previous Prey.
Yeah.
Not that I played it that much, but it's like, okay, is this supposed to have anything to do with it, or is it
Exactly?
completely
Like there was
separate?
originally like a few years ago they showed Prey 2, but that didn't really have anything to do with the original Prey. It didn't seem like from that trailer. And then they basically it disappeared. It got canceled, and all of a sudden it resurfaced. Now the team that's doing this is the same team that did Dishonored, and is doing Dishonored 2. It's the same studio. Is doing Prey. So I just don't know why they chose. Why do you have to call it Prey? Like you could have called it something else. It's got the same idea.
Something in the story must have like they clung on something. So we can use Prey. I mean, I guess something from that old whatever story or whatever they had. I guess they.
Yeah, maybe something carries from the game, but. So they also showed about Doom DLCs coming, Elder Scrolls Online DLC. Whoop-de-doo. Bethesda VR, so you can actually explore Doom and play Fallout 4 in VR.
So that
but
could
that's
be
a
good.
Vive exclusive, though, so it's only coming to the
I
Vive.
haven't experienced anything in VR, so I don't know how
Pretty
I feel
good.
about it.
Like
It
I
works.
said,
It actually works.
after we played Collateral Damage at PAX, it was like, okay, I'm sold.
It's just
It's
funny
like-
that game sold
That's
us.
such
Like,
a
out of
stupid
all the
game
games,
that
that
was
so
what
much
VR
fun.
can do. But like I said, I'm getting PSVR when it comes out October 13th. I will bring that here, and everybody will try it. So, because why not? Then they showed off Dishonored 2. I never played the first Dishonored, so Chris, what do you think of Dishonored 2?
Oh, I'm excited about Dishonored 2. It, picks up the story after the first one, a couple years after the first one left off. I'm excited to see where the story goes, but looking at the gameplay, it looks very similar to the powers that you have, but I see a whole lot of new enemies, new story. It's a new city, it's a new time. It's years later, and you're, for the most part, you're playing the main character that you were rescuing from the first game. So I'm very interested in it. Like I said, between the gameplay was really good, but not great. In the first game, it was good, but the story and gameplay combo is what made it Game of the Year. I mean, that's what made it Game of the Year. The story, the soundtrack, the environment, and then you add the gameplay, which was, you know, old-timey weapons, but yet some supernatural powers, kind of Bioshocky, lets you teleport, lets you do certain things, you know, some supernatural powers. You know, basically the left trigger does your supernatural, your right trigger is your gun, whatever, you know, mortal weapon you have, gun, crossbow, whatever you have. You know, it felt very Bioshocky. So, and I go back to that because that's all the original game where it was like supernatural stuff versus, you know, regular gun stuff. Which, if you had the video camera, you could see me waving left and right, but you know, you don't.
Yeah, look at that.
The only question,
Yeah, they did we didn't watch the full gameplay stuff or anything. Because Bethesda at their conference gave it the Fallout 4 trailer from last year, as in here's 30 minutes of
this is our big game.
This is our big game for the year. We're going to show off a bunch of stuff. So we didn't see the new powers and stuff, or the time warping thing that they showed of being like, oh, you're in this world, you can go top through a time hole, kill this guy, and drop back, you know, all sort of stuff. So it seemed interesting, but I don't know if I'll play it or not. I do like the idea that it comes with First Dishonored. When you
wasn't the First Dishonored, like, if you killed, like, a bunch of things and you get a different ending or something like that?
Yeah,
was that, like, a bad ending, or
no,
was it just a different ending?
It was just a different ending. From what you could go through the entire game and actually never kill somebody. Mm-hmm. It was possible. It was very difficult.
There was an achievement for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Of course, I did not do that, but it was really cool that it gave you that option that you
Does it feel like it's punishing you if you're like,
okay. No, it didn't. It was, you know, there was a plague going on, so it was that very old-timey, everybody's peasants are sick, the richer folk were, you know, separating from the lower class, and that's basically how you dealt with it. Mm. And it was that Victorian kind of era. There was gangs, there was, you know, people that knew what was going on, that was just kind of taking advantage of it. You know, like I said, I'm not going to ruin the story. Mm. It was just a really good story from start to finish. And the way they played this Dishonored 2, like I said, I'm very excited for. I'm going to definitely be getting it because I had so much fun playing Dishonored because I was engrossed in the story. The gameplay was cool. Because I like those stealthy games where you can, you know, if you want to, you could go bruiser and kill everybody in the quad and then walk through the front door. Or you could not kill everybody or kill one or two guards, grab the bodies, kind of Hitman-ish. Mm-hmm. You know, grab the body, drag it over here, dump it off the corner, because if anybody sees the body, you know, they get alerted. But you can kill somebody and drag the body, put it in the corner so nobody sees it. Go through the open window upstairs, sneak in, you know. You have so many options, and that's what I liked about the game, was it gave me those different options and I tried it, because sometimes it was just like, I got frustrated and said, to hell with it, guns out, killing everybody. And I'm not going to lie, and I did, you know, and I had fun doing it, but, you know, I did try the stealthy approach, you know, and then sometimes it just got frustrating, and I just said, okay, screw it, I'm just going to kill everybody, and that's what I did, or I would...
That happens to me a lot in those type of games.
You know, I would alert everybody, run around the corner, wait for everybody to come around the corner, and then just go shotgun, you know, bam, 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 or use my supernatural powers to loot, you know, everybody's over in this corner now nobody's in the quad, so I just go doop, 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 and go where I needed to go to begin with. You know, you have options. That's what I like about, like, with Hitman, you know, I don't play a lot of Hitman games, but it reminds me of it, because you have options. You can go this way, you can go that way. There's no right or wrong way to play the game. Yeah. It's how every person plays.
See, I was just wondering, because I think I heard, I don't know if I just misheard something, like in the first game, I feel like you do get like a bad ending if you like kill a bunch of people or something like that. I just don't like games that like punish you for playing with what they give you. It's like, no, we're going to let you play with this, but if you do it this way, that's the bad way to do things. You know, it's kind of like,
I didn't get a bad ending, and I killed a lot of people.
Look,
it wasn't the ending I was. It wasn't the ending I was expecting, especially after hearing how the second one's going to play out. But it was one of those endings where, again, kind of that Bioshock you. It felt like, oh well, you know, this person may die, this person may not. But it was for the greater good. It felt like it was going to go on through. And like I said, I completely enjoyed my entire Dishonored experience, where I wanted to go back and be more stealthy, but of course, as many games happen, something else comes up and you don't have time to go back and replay it again. But when I went through it that first time, and like I said, I beat the whole of the first Dishonored, and from start to finish, it was a great game. I highly recommend it. There's a reason it was Game of the Year.
Yeah, because I saw if you pre-order it, you can get the you can get the first one remastered along with it, I think.
Yeah, if you pre-order it, I think you get the first one.
If you haven't experienced the first one, it's definitely worth it.
Remastered is $60, by the way.
Oh, it is
I
only
looked
60?
it up. Yeah, it's 60. So
I highly recommend it, because especially if you don't have to be stealthy. It helps, but the game adapts to your play style. You adapt to it. There's certain ways to play, and there's certain scenarios where it's just gonna, you go crash a party and it's like you need to get from point A to point B. Well, if you want to, you could kill everybody in the building, which means you're gonna alert all the guards, and I mean, you could go that way, or you could just do like you're supposed to and go from chandelier to chandelier, from rooftop to rooftop, to ledge, find a window, kill this one person, put them in a closet, sneak in, kill the one person that you need to, kill them, kind of Assassin's Creed-ish, come in, get in, get out.
Yeah, that's Assassin's Creed sound to me. My biggest thing is like Assassin's Creed, it's like you can do it the stealthy way. My Assassin's Creed gameplay is I go into the room and kill everybody and then move on.
Say it's like in Fallout, I'm sneaky to the point to where it's like I'll sneak around, then I'll get my fat man with a mini nuke, and then just like strategically position him like that.
I have yet to play it with a fat man. I have not played with the rocket launchers.
Just fire just one fat man at a group of enemies is so satisfying. Oh, it's great.
I need to do that.
All right, we're gonna pause really quick because I need to check something. So, all right. So stopping here. Hey, we're back. Okay. Basically, it was I needed to check something to make sure I didn't pull the record through the laptop microphone again, because I may have done that 8 episodes ago, somewhere in there. It was a while ago. But wanted to make sure I wasn't doing that mistake again. So, anyways, moving on. We're now going to talk about Microsoft's conference, which we're Xbox people. Mm-hmm. I do have some friends that work at Tesla Studios. He's a PlayStation person. Yeah.
Yeah,
not everybody's perfect.
Yeah, it's like I don't try and hold that against him, but hey. So Microsoft's conference, they started off by showing the Xbox One S.
So I may have pre-ordered.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Can't help myself.
I may have 3 Xbox Ones in my house already, so.
You don't want the Xbox One.
Need one for the bathroom, need one for the living room, and one for the...
Well, there's one in my office, one in my living room, and then the one in the living room was the day 1 edition one, but the drive was dying in it, and I didn't feel like going through the hassle of dealing with sitting in to... Because I tried to watch a Blu-ray, and I put it in there, and then the drive wouldn't read it, so it had this weird issue of when you put the disc in, you have to eject it, put it back in, eject it, put it back in, and wait to hear it wind up, and then you go, okay, that's how it's going to play. But one time I went to hit eject, it didn't spit the disc out, so it freaked me out, and I watch a lot of Blu-rays, so I bought another one. Then of course they announced this one, which is 4K support, which I have a 4K TV in my living room, and so I would have been like, it's a 4K Blu-ray player too, which is probably the cheapest on the market now, the Xbox One S. But
I mean, I'm going to sell my old Xbox. I'm a gadget person anyway, so I'll just sell the old one and I'll just have the new one.
So I have...
Then a year later, I'll get the...
So the new one comes with a 2 terabyte hard drive?
It depends. That has the $300 ones, 500 gigabytes. $350, you get a 1 terabyte, and $400 for a 2 terabyte.
Okay.
I mean, I was one of the people that paid $500 for the Xbox when they came out.
Yeah, me too.
And everything.
So, on launch day.
I can beat all of you. The 360, the day the 360 came out, somebody may have dropped $2,100 on a Xbox 360 day 1, 5 games, extra controller.
You went all out.
Oh, I did. I did. That was the most I've ever spent. Of course, I was single, technically not married, no kids, no nothing.
I'll do it.
I had nothing but money to spend.
So like me and Andrew now.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Anyway, so they Xbox One. I think it looks great. I like the idea that the power brick's actually built into the thing now.
Then you can stream 4K, which is pretty nice.
Yep, and it's a 4K Blu-ray player, which most 4K Blu-ray players on the market now are $400 or $500. So that'd be the cheapest one on the market. So, and if you don't have an Xbox One, it's a great design. Great time to maybe get one. We'll see.
Or buy somebody else's who...
The only thing I don't like about it,
one.
no Connect port.
Yeah, but
you can get a little dongle, I know, but it's like...
for free.
It's for free?
Yeah, the dongle's free.
I need to do that.
Yeah, there's a whole step process about getting the USB dongle and stuff, because the Connect port doesn't exist.
Because I use my Connect all the time.
Yeah, me too. Rest in peace, Connect.
At least they still support it.
Yeah, kind of. So then we saw Gears of War 4's gameplay. So Chris, what do you think?
I played the first 3. I enjoyed them. Not sold on Gears 4. Just not. I know, the very last sequence had Marcus Phoenix in it, but I don't know. Something about it. It's just, it looks like Gears. It looks like every other Gears. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I'm kind of with you with this because when I heard, when they were going to do 3 more Halos, and I'm like, do you really need to do 3 more Halos? I love Halo. It's just if we think we need to let it end, maybe let it break for maybe 5 or 6 years, maybe then pick up, do another trilogy, but I mean, I'm thinking about getting Gears 4, but I just kind of like these franchises that sure they come out every 3 years, but maybe you need more time to let them breathe. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, it's the only Gears story I've completed was 1. I made about halfway to where I cut my way out of that worm.
It's a great trilogy. It's a great story.
I own all of them. I needed them.
Gears
for
3 was one of
games.
the best games ever between Horde mode.
Cool set pieces too.
It was awesome, but it looks like this Gears 4 looks exactly like verbatim. Looks like Gears. The enemies are not the Locust. There's somebody else. I'm curious to see who. The only thing that makes me want to play is my curiosity about the story. Because the gameplay looks verbatim like Gears 3.
Oh, verbatim it is. I mean, I played the beta for Gears of War 4.
Yeah.
The only thing that they added was that you could reach over your barricade and grab the person and drag them over to you. Which I did do that in multiplayer, and that was funny.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'm kind of curious to see it. I'll probably end up getting it just to play the campaign stuff, co-op with some buddies.
They have to have the set
fun.
pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
Because in Gears 3, they had a couple really good set pieces for fighting things.
And that comes out October 11th. Since we were thinking about the date. They showed a trailer for the Gears of War Elite controller, which, F you, Microsoft, I'm sorry. $200 for that thing? It's I have an Elite controller, I paid $150 for the thing, but $50 more because it has Gears of War on it?
Yeah.
Come on now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if it was Halo, their flagship.
Yeah. But even then, it's not $50 more just because it's branded Gears of War. If you're going to...
If it was $150, I probably would have get it.
$150, you make kind of thing, or it's $160 or something a little bit more.
I got the Gears 3 controller.
Yeah.
And it was my primary controller for years, but just like any other controller, because I used it for so much, it died. And I'm like, okay, I paid $40, $50 more for a controller. It was a cool controller, but the functionality did nothing more than any other controller did, and now it's threw it away because it does me no good.
Yeah. So I'm just something about $50 more. I feel no.
Yeah.
Next they showed
more
off
the principle of the thing. Really.
Exactly. The next thing they showed was that General Ram from First Gears is going to be in Killer Instinct Season 3. Killer Instinct... Okay, whatever.
Yeah, next.
I'm not a fighting game person, so...
I'm just waiting to go on to the next subject.
Oh, you mean Recore? That one?
Yeah.
Or you mean the one... Oh, I skipped one. Forza Horizon 3.
Oh, Forza? Oh. Well, I mean, Forza is Forza. You know you're going to get a great racing game, especially Horizons, which is less semi... A lot more open... Just... The F-off game, so you just do whatever you want to do. I mean, you can just last one, I know there was one night I didn't do any races. I was just cruising around, just like exploring like where everything was.
I tend to say like the Horizon games more. It's just nice casual, like it's not as crazy as like Sim as the original Forza, wherever the T comes from. Chris, any thoughts on?
I've never played Forza. I didn't care for it because it's too, like I said, too racing games. I'm into Need for Speed, that kind of stuff. And Forza, the sim games, I'm just.
That's where Horizon might fit more your style because it is more of that arcade
have a demo
Need for Speed type style. Is what Horizon does. So it it's not that crazy sim like what the original Forza games are. Anyways, moving on, they showed off Recore. Kenji Inafune's next game, which who knows how much he actually has anything to do with that game.
Yeah.
But
well, I think the main people that did Metroid Prime, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that team.
Yeah.
But it's best in Austin. I do like the fact it's only $39.99. So
yeah, I shouldn't be worried, but it's when it's a new IP. Why are they selling it for cheaper?
I think it's. When you see the trailer, like from looking at the trailer, it doesn't look like a true next gen game. It looks good.
I think it looks fine,
but it doesn't look like Gears does.
Yeah, true.
If you're going graphic wise. Chris, thoughts? Anything?
Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of agree with Andrew on it. It looks like. For $39.99, I would try it. I wouldn't pay $59.99 for it because it doesn't look like next gen. It doesn't look like an Xbox One game. It looks like it. The gameplay is intriguing. Those whatever stories there looks intriguing. But is it $60 intriguing? No.
Yeah, at $39.99. I think that's another reason they might do $39.99 is just. That's an easier entry point for some people of a new IP of a game that you have no clue what the heck it's
Maybe
about.
They're just trying a new pricing strategy for new IP. Maybe because the person that wrote the original Halo trilogy is writing this game.
Oh, cool.
Joe Statham.
Yeah.
Because I saw that when he was doing E3 stuff, I was like, that's the Halo guy. But,
it is the Halo guy.
Yeah, he's helping writing this one, so that just makes me even more intrigued. The original Halo trilogy is actually pretty good.
$39.99. That comes out September 18th. Mm-hmm. So, then we got Final Fantasy 15's gameplay.
Ooh.
Chris.
You don't want to hear what I think about Final Fantasy.
Oh,
and I don't play Final Fantasy, so yeah. Chris.
Actually, I do want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I didn't really shouldn't have said it that way, but I was just like, first, turn-based strategy is not really my thing, which is fine for some people. Then I played the demo. Of course, I know it's not the original. Like, what the game isn't really.
The demo was glitchy as hell.
And to me, the controls, like I'm used to, like even like Devil May Cry a couple of years ago, and like Witcher, and like the combat in that is like it's like really responsive and quick. It's like when it wanted you to like prompt you to like. There was a couple of button mashing things that told you what button to push, and it's like I don't know if it was just glitchy or if it was just bad timing.
I think it was glitchy.
I'm not.
Final Fantasy is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played. The soundtrack is amazing, so I'm looking forward to 15 because I'm so sick of lightning and time. I'm so sick of time. And I hate to say this because I'm such a fan of the series. I forced myself to, it's like the Resident Evil movies. It's like I forced myself to like them for the sheer principle. But at some point, I'm like, enough's enough. I'm like, I can't keep up with the time. You had a good story. You had some good characters. But you lost 3 games later, you've lost me. So I'm ready for a next gen game designed for the next gen, designed for Xbox One, PS4, whatever. Designed for it, soundtrack, gameplay, new story, new characters. I'm ready for it. So, very excited about it. And the limited edition comes with a Blu-ray DVD, Kingsglaive.
Is it the anime that they were?
Yeah. Yep, the anime for it. Steel case, extra outfit, new weapon. It's $89.99. I mean, you're gonna pay $59.99 for it. So is it worth the $30 extra? I mean, yeah. steel case, the Blu-ray, I always like, because the games that come with extra art books and stuff like that, I'm like, well, who really cares? Well, when it comes to Final Fantasy, I think they're some of the most beautiful games I've ever seen before, so I don't mind getting the art books for those, but there's not an art book for this. This is something else. I'm thinking about getting the limited edition, just because I am a fan of the series. I like the turn-based. Of course, I do like the devil May Cry series. You know, you brought Devil May Cry up. I was like, I love some Devil May Cry. I love that kind of, combat, that kind of combat. But at the same time, RPGs, Final Fantasy brought me to the dance. Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, going on forward, 10, 2, X2, some of the ones that just, brought the storytelling to the table. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. That comes out September 30th.
Sure, I respect it as a franchise, but not for me.
Yeah, exactly. What it's capable of doing.
Yeah.
I appreciate what it did for the gaming industry. It's not a game for me either. Next, they showed off. We fast forward through a bunch of this, but the Division DLC. Again, we've been things that's like. I enjoyed what I played the Division once I hit 30, but then it was like that. You had to start that grind. I was not going to do that. They showed off Battlefield 1's trailer, which was the same trailer from EA's conference the day before, so whoop-de-doo. Looks great. I think it looks cool. Will I play it? I don't know. Probably not. Just because I'm not a big fan of the way Battlefield 1 or Battlefield games, the way their guns
You have to
play.
wait 3 months after they're released before you can actually
Exactly.
play
I was going to say.
Like, for them to actually work when they come out day one, good luck. And then
I'll be sitting there. It's like, will it work?
I'm just not a big fan of the way their gunplay is for any of the Battlefields. That's the way I've just always been. We didn't show this to Chris or anything, but they announced the Xbox Live's next update, which is going to allow background music, so you'd be able to like play Spotify or something in the background.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Or something along those lines, or like you.
They haven't said what services exactly.
They said background music in general, but for example, something like a Spotify, or you plug in your MP3 player or something.
That I would enjoy immensely in a lot of different games. There's a lot of games like Xbox Live
games. You think they'll have
games.
Google Play Music on there? Because that's what I use.
Some Pandora?
Yeah, no.
That was being sarcastic. I know that.
They showed off. Oh, they'll probably use Groove. Xbox's.
I'm already paying
Microsoft
for Google Play Music.
Well, I pay for Groove, so screw you.
I have
I'm good.
YouTube Red. Can't live
You
without
can
YouTube
hook up
Red.
your Zune.
I had a Zune.
R.I.P. Zune. I loved my Zune.
I got the second one too. The revised one.
Yeah, I have multiple ones. What was songs for the Zune? Okay, moving on. They showed about Cortana's coming to Xbox Live, which is their like Siri.
Siri or Google Now.
Yeah, she's on my iPad.
Yeah.
She could be a smart aleck.
Sensor number one. All right.
Well, she is. She's like, I don't understand that. Well, if I wanted to ask that, I asked my wife. Just shut the hell up and do what I told you.
Anyways, but Cortana's kind of the same idea as far as you'd be able to tell her, like, hey, Cortana, open up a party, invite Andrew and Chris.
If it did stuff like that, would be
that's what
perfect.
That's what they're talking about. It's going to be capable of doing, is what Cortana is supposed to be able to do. Whether or not it actually works.
No, what she'll say is, I don't know who Andrew is. Who is this Andrew that you've been out with?
Yeah, now I got to say Metal Blade 85 and Hank Nova 316. But who knows? We'll see. They also showed about the idea about clubs, which is basically community-driven stuff. It's a place for your community to go. Since I'm a part of TAG, I can see TAG using it a lot as far as, hey, everybody's... Because that way if we're not friends with everybody that's a part of TAG, but if everybody's in this group, we can find other taggers for whatever game we might be playing. They also showed looking for group, which I think they said is kind of like a Craigslist kind of thing. Like, say you're looking for you're getting on and you're getting ready to do a raid. What you need level 40 guys for Destiny to do this raid. We need 2 people. You put it out there, somebody sees it, and they'll be able to join your party. And they can come play with you, kind of thing. If you're looking for a certain type of
there's like websites like it's good they integrated in the concept, because I know there was like when I was first like way back just starting out with Destiny, they had like websites where you can like go
and they still have a lot of websites that do that, and some it's just like anything else. It's sometimes you get some really good folks and you enjoy yourself, and then some people are just douchebags.
Yeah.
That's welcome to the internet. And then they showed about arenas, which are going to be tournaments that are going to be going on for Halo, Call of Duty, for example, or I don't know if they mentioned about the ability to be able to create your own type of tournament, or I think they did.
I think so.
So, like for tag, like we could create a tournament for whatever game that might be coming out, and then our tag people can log in and we can play through the tournament and it'll keep track for us. We don't have to keep track on a website or keep track on tag, for example. Then we moved on to Minecraft, which they showed a bunch of stuff about iOS and Android, and the Xbox 360
Basically
stuff will be able to cross-play with each other. That's great. The only thing that came out of that entire presentation, which
it was
those
like
people,
10, 15 minutes.
it was a good chunk, and those people were really happy.
Minecraft.
The biggest thing was the idea of dedicated servers coming to the console, so that like Primordial Goo from Tag,
or like having your own server.
he can build in the world, and he doesn't have to stay online anymore for me to be able to build in that world as well. So I can go build in that world on my time, and we can just work on that thing together. I like that idea a lot, that finally dedicated servers are coming to the consoles. But anyways, moving on. They show the custom controllers, the Xbox Design Labs.
Yep.
I think it's a cool idea.
I have my red one already ready to go, just waiting for them to ship it.
Nice. You did pre-order it?
Yep.
Nice.
I haven't figured out my color combo yet.
It's still, it's a cool idea. I mean, because there's a lot of third-party sites out there that were doing it. The fact that it's a first-party,
and I always like it. At least there's like a warranty aspect if you get something straight from Microsoft. That, and you actually get like a lot of like button. You can change the buttons, the start menu, the back. Well, they don't call those that.
Yeah, whatever they call it, the menu button,
or whatever. You can change all those
view
buttons.
Button. That's what it's called. View.
Yeah.
Sure, start and back.
That's what I call it.
Still a cool idea. Again, first party. Awesome idea. Then they moved on to their ID at Xbox games and stuff. So they showed off about Inside is coming June 29th from the creators of Limbo. I was kind of excited to see that, that was 2 weeks, after E3 it's coming out, which at the time of this recording is 4 days from now.
Yeah.
So, and Limbo is free. So if you haven't played Limbo, hey, it's free to Xbox One players for a certain amount of time. Limbo's a great game. So, what do you think, Chris? Limbo?
I enjoyed Limbo. I haven't beat it yet, but
creepy. But that same idea.
Insanely ingenious the way it was done.
Yeah, and that same team is coming out with Inside, so I don't know what the heck Inside's about. The trailer showed really
the
nothing.
Pre-release, like every other like podcast, like read up is like pre-embargo stuff. They're saying is like it's going to be really, really good. Yeah,
so I'm on board. I'll play that when it comes out in a couple of days. So they announced they have 1,000 games in development for ID at Xbox. You have they did an Indies trailer of a bunch of different games.
Cuphead needs to release already. That's all I have to say about that.
I don't even remember what the other games were that they showed, but
there was one other one called Flint Hook. Oh, I hope I remember that right. That I played at PAX East. That was pretty good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think I've talked about it on that podcast,
but there's a bunch of games coming. Looks cool. Then they showed off We Happy Few.
I'm excited for that one. It has that Bioshocky feel of world. Kind of, there's a society, don't mess with the society. If you do, if you ripple the effects at all, it looks creepy, not like, gory creepy. It just looks creepy.
It's just that look that she had, like when she goes in your office and picks up a pill, and that smile she gives, like right after she has, it's like
the fact that there's a mask, that everybody has face paint or masks that force you to make that smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm intrigued. I'm really excited about this game because it looks intriguing.
So they were showing off the story stuff and everything, which looked interesting. And the stuff that's apparently coming to the Xbox preview program, though, is not the story stuff. It's all the procedurally generated,
which I have no idea
worlds kind of thing.
How that works.
So it'd be interesting to see. But the story stuff is coming later next year.
That's all we care about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It does hit game preview September or July 26th. I looked up dates. So
good job.
Then we got the Gwent card game coming to Xbox September 2016.
The game from the game that you can now play because they made it a real game.
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 Have the physical cards also.
Yeah.
Because they gave them out at PAX East.
So hey, you like Witcher? And you like Gwent
If you
from Witcher?
like card games, like collectible
Gwent.
card games,
Yeah,
it's actually
same
a
idea.
highly strategic board game or card game. So very complicated. Well, not complicated, but you can do it. There are a lot of strategies with it.
So then we got Tekken 7, which
Next.
is Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is free. They announced that, and it comes early 2017. Moving on.
Cool.
They showed up Dead Rising 4, which is coming out December 6th, 2016.
I'll probably be getting that.
Frank
because
West
that's
is
just
back.
Dumb fun.
And it's basically same city, same idea, same the mall and stuff from the original Dead Rising, but no time limit this time.
Yeah, so that's what turned me off about the first time.
So we'll see. I don't know if I'll beat it or not because that same day is South Park, but we'll talk about South Park in a sec. Then we got some Scalebound gameplay.
I'm excited about
Scorpion.
Scalebound when it eventually comes.
I think it said right now it's early 2017.
Yeah, I'm like at the point. It's like I don't want to hear any more about it. I just want to like see it.
At least this
Like
one,
release
this trailer ran better than it did last year.
Yeah,
Last
that's
year it
true.
chugged.
Yeah,
So it looks like a cool co-op game. We'll see. Probably not my style of
yeah.
game, but
It's like a beat 'em up, like, and you have your own dragon.
It looks very Final Fantasy, but more co-op-y. Except
Well, it's funny
more
because
my play style.
I think I don't know if they like specifically said it, but like last year when they showed it, it was strictly going around beating things up, controlling your dragon, stuff like that. Now that I guess they're saying that there's like co-op, like maybe like dungeons or something like that you can run through. I don't know if it's like a part of the story, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Bunch of dragons beating things up.
the next game, which we did not get a release date for, but I'm excited for, was Sea of Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
That looked interesting.
The gameplay trailer, while an interesting way of doing it, of the Let's Play kind of
Yeah.
style, because those guys were a little weird.
Yeah.
Putting it mildly. They at least showed off the idea of, hey, we didn't give these guys any tutorials whatsoever, and we are throwing them into this game of Sea of Thieves. So
Yeah, like
I guess we're going to pause for a second.
all right.
Pausing. And we're back. Okay. Pause number 2 over with. We were talking about Sea of Thieves. So, thoughts on Sea of Thieves?
I think it seemed like pretty organic the way that they just kind of threw everyone in there.
Yeah, without having to give them tutorials or anything. It was like, hey, check it out.
And like during interviews, they were like, I mean, when like, so I was watching like Rooster Teeth and IGN with their interviews, they're like so like tight-lipped on like what about other weapons? What about customization? Just like all this other stuff. This game probably isn't going to be out till like 2018 or something like that. But
Yeah, or late 2017.
it looks like they're the only real worry about I have about this game is like the legs that it has.
It's one thing. Like they were saying, it could feel like Evolve, where it's a cool concept, it's a cool idea, works in these studio things. But what's the odds of you being able to get you and your buddies all at the same time to go do these quests, to go do these missions, or whatever this game has you do as a pirate?
Yeah.
Which is why I haven't gotten Evolve yet, because I really love what Evolve showed, but I'm like, that's why I have been hesitant about it, because I'm like, okay, the only way it's going to work is if I have 4 people who are on my friends list want to play that night. That's really the only way it's going to work.
It's exactly how. That's why, and we moved on really fast from Evolve. Now, talking with again Primordial Goo from Tag. Hey, he did mention the idea that with Tag, I can see us because we have on Tag we have game nights. So for example, every Thursday is Halo. So everybody gets on that time. So we could see for a game like Sea of Thieves, where we could make a night is Sea of Thieves night. So every Tuesday night is Sea of Thieves. So then on Tuesday, next thing you know, we got 15 taggers on, and if they haven't said how much big the crew size is going to be, but say that it's 5 per crew. Well, now we got a crew of we have 3 ships that are fully crewed. We can have our own armada rolling through the seas, and basically like, oh, look at that one lone ship by itself. This should be fun.
Give us your stuff.
You owe us money now. So I could see the idea with Tag of us carrying it forward in that regard. But having me and and Chris here or me and Andrew getting on at the same time, like, will we be able to man a ship, just the two of us? Like, how will that work? What is the land stuff? What is the other stuff that game has to offer? There's still a lot more they need to talk about, a lot more they need to show. So who knows when that game will be out? Mm-hmm. I'm assuming late 2017 or early 2018, somewhere in there. They showed off State of Decay 2 with a nice cinematic trailer.
So I'm excited for that. Because they pretty much like added co-op to that game, which is...
Yeah, that's why
should be a lot of fun.
I never played the first State of Decay, but I'll probably play State of Decay 2 if I could be co-op with you, for example.
Yeah. It looked like they were showing off like some like more of like because in the first game you had like a little area, say like you got like a little schoolyard, well, like an office, like the forest or whatever. They showed that, and then you could like build up the walls a little bit and like have a little garden. It looked like they took that and they expanded it out a lot in this one, which is like just more State of Decay, which would be good.
Chris, any thoughts on State of Decay 2?
I haven't played the first one yet, so I mean the second one looked interesting, but like I said, it's the co-op's cool. The first one, I know, was single player. I might give it a try because I think it was Games with Gold. I think it was free.
And they also had like a remaster that came out for the Xbox One that had all their DLC and stuff like that.
So I'm definitely willing to give it a try.
Mm-hmm. So interesting. Then they did Halo Wars 2. Showed a nice cinematic trailer. Gameplay announced beta's available this week.
I must excuse myself for this.
And I played one game.
I actually played it because I was thinking about it. I was like, why don't I because like when the original Halo Wars came out, I wasn't like a big board game person. And then as I thought about it, I was like, I started liking Civilization. Like I have Civ 5 on this computer. So I was like, that's pretty much the version of Civ 5. So I go and start poking around. The other teammate that I had or whatever like dropped off, and I'm just like sitting there and like my resources like for one certain type are going through the roof because I've captured some points or whatever, and I couldn't do anything else because to build the people I need the other resources. I'm like, crap. What's this option to like move base? Well, okay, we'll try that. Maybe it'll like give me some more resources back. My base explodes. It said you forfeit or something like that, and I'm like, okay, note to self, don't do that again.
I played one match. My biggest thing was I instantly went to thinking it was going to be like Halo Wars, and I made the problem of Halo Wars controls were on my head, so I went to try and press right trigger. If you hold down right trigger in Halo Wars and you can move across the map really fast, I don't know where that control exists, if it exists in Halo Wars 2, but it wasn't right trigger, so next thing I know, I'm on top of... I was transferring stuff and various other things. The generator stuff is handled differently than it was in Halo in the original Halo Wars, so a lot of stuff I would have to relearn. We did win our one game, but I think it had connectivity issues because that guy's had his one partner drop. Because it was a 2v2 ticket thing and stuff. I didn't like the game idea, the gameplay and stuff of it, so...
I bought the original Halo Wars, so I'm going to play that one and see if I'll get into Halo Wars 2, maybe.
Well, you want to play some Halo Wars? We can play some Halo Wars.
I'm all about some Halo Wars. Now, you do know the Definitive Edition, the Limited Edition, comes with a remastered version of Halo Wars 1 for the Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly, which is a cool idea.
I already bought it just now for back compat.
But at least you can play it now.
Yeah.
So, and the
Which
idea,
I will have to admit, the backwards compatibility of this one, the graphics look freaking amazing.
Really?
They look like a remastered version. I installed it on the Xbox One just to have the backwards compatibility, and it looks amazing. I mean, the gameplay is exactly the same, but
it's still, when you have a lot of enemies on the screen at one time,
it's still
still chucks.
Yeah.
Shout out to Agent M over there, our Hawks. If you have like 30 Hawks on screen and they're all blasted something, the frame rate drops a lot.
It's still fun. Like
but it's still a fun game.
And the fact that if you reserve the limited edition, you get it 4 days early.
Ooh. See, there you go.
So it comes out on that Tuesday, but it comes out on that Friday if you have the definitive edition, which is the $79.99, extended edition, which includes the Halo 1's remastered. That comes out Friday. So it's the first time I've seen them do if you get the limited edition, you get it 4 days early kind of thing.
That's kind of a cool idea. And that's released February 21st or February 17th. If you pre-ordered the limited edition. So, and then They finished the conference with Project Scorpio and showing off that it's coming holiday 2017.
It's a lot to process.
All they announced was that it's the most powerful console ever. It will support VR and 4K. They didn't announce which type of VR it will support, which was kind of confusing.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing is they have
or
that
if they make their own. I mean, they are a hardware company now. They could just
technically make their own, but they think they have that partnership with Oculus now. But then Todd Howard was talking about Fallout 4 was in VR, but that's only Vive
for the PC side.
For
anyway.
PC side, so maybe it's coming for Xbox. It'll be on the Oculus, but the most powerful console ever. Blah blah
of course,
blah blah blah.
The next console it better be more powerful, but you would think.
It is interesting that again consoles are heading this generation of the technology's advanced so fast that they have to come out with these iterations of PlayStation coming up with the Neo and Microsoft responding with the Scorpio.
But I definitely think that I like what Microsoft is doing with of course, who knows how long these will last, but I believe it was on IGN where Rod Ferguson, I think, is the head for Gears of War, and he was saying that this Gears of War 4 is ready for Scorpio. Like, they have whatever the code is to have it to where this is a Scorpio, this has better hardware, let's just upscale stuff. And it works, and I like that idea. And
but I think I saw an interview with Phil Spencer where he talked about that this console is really meant for if you have a 4K television.
Yeah.
You're playing on a 4K screen, or the idea of VR intrigues you. The original Xbox One, if you don't have a 4K TV, it can support you just fine. You right over there, Chris? You good?
I'm good.
Any thoughts?
I mean, I'm running out of hard drive space on my Xbox One, so...
Yeah. So,
That's like how even your controllers are going to work. They are definitely making this is our PC consoles. Probably every 5 years, all right, we're just going to put out another new console, and I even think the graphics card is a version of a GTX 980, which is the normal pretty confident graphics card for today.
High end, and it's got 6 teraflops.
Yep, teraflops.
A teraflop is.
You want me to go through this example again for the
podcast? Sure. Give me the because
what's a teraflop?
No. Basically, it's just how much information can go between back and forth. So basically, a bigger highway. Imagine cars on a highway. You got a bigger highway, more cars you're able to fit on there, more information goes back and forth.
So you can process information faster.
Okay.
So the idea is, they were saying, or Phil Spencer talked about, the idea of, for example, Halo 5. They have resolution scaling based on, so whatever's going on the screen. If a lot's going on the screen, the resolution might come down to keep the frame rate going.
Yeah.
What this would be capable of doing is keeping the frame rate up the entire time and keeping the graphics up at the entire time without having a dip. Just helps things run better.
Yeah.
We'll see how much the thing costs. That's going to be the key thing. They cannot walk on stage again and go $500.
I think it's going to be $500.
It's probably going to be $500, but I just can't. I don't see how you can walk on stage and do that again.
It all depends on marketing.
Not after you do it last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Or not last year, but when they originally launched the Xbox One.
Depends on how they message it.
Exactly.
Hopefully they do it well.
All right. Well, that was Microsoft's conference, which I thought was a good conference.
Yep.
We had Ubisoft did theirs, so they did a Ghost Recon Wildlands show off, which is big open world, squad-based idea. I like it for my other buddies I was playing the Division with. It seems like it's the idea of the Division missions without the idea of the grind of the Division afterwards.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm hoping it is.
Which, if that's what it is, I'm on board. And that comes out March 7th, 2017. Then we got South Park Fractured Butthole.
Which I'm actually excited to play.
Really?
Because it may sound simple, they added movement, but adding movement just adds a whole new little technical layer. And they mentioned things about pushing enemies and pulling enemies, and it's just crowd control. It's it's a lot of board game mechanics they're introducing into this, which makes me interested.
If you pre-purchase the game, you get the original South Park: The Stick of Truth for free, remastered for the Xbox One. Mm-hmm. I may have done that. So I restarted the Stick of Truth recently just because I wanted to play it again. Because that game's just great. Mm-hmm. Chris, any thoughts on South Park?
Like the series, I've never played the games.
You would like Stick of Truth.
Probably, but having a kid at home, it's not one I would...
Not one you want your kid around ever for that game. And that comes out December 6th. So they showed off the Division skins and DLC. Whoop-dee-doo. Mm-hmm. They showed off Star Trek VR, which... Cool idea, but at the same time, all I saw was that there were 4 Vive headsets. As like
so much money. I think they were Oculus headsets.
Or 4 Oculus headsets. Each one Oculus is $700. So they had $2,800 in headsets sitting there for this. And then that's not counting the PC to run it. Or PCs to run it. So, cool concept, but
that is like...
You better have expensive friends.
Yeah.
So moving on, they showed For Honor. Which we really didn't show, but I mean, you've seen For Honor. It looks interesting. The idea of Rise gameplay kind of seemed like right there. I'll be interested in it at some point. That is February 14th. For some reason I have that marked. We got Trials of the Blood Dragon out now.
They probably got such thick me on this one. It's like, new Blood Dragon. I love the original Blood Dragon, of course, and then it's like, Trials of the Blood Dragon. I'm like, I got really excited there for a second.
Then for some reason they had to come out and talk about the Assassin's Creed movie.
Random.
Okay, sure, whatever. And then we got a good extensive demo of Watch Dogs 2, which is probably my second most anticipated game that I want to play.
The first one came out, of course, that was like closely when GTA came out. I think it came out like before GTA the same year.
It was 2014 that year, the same year, but it was that.
It was very
March,
GTA-like. I never got into it.
This game, it just has a lot more personality to it, and a lot of like different crafting stuff to it. Also, Watch Dogs 2 the original Watch Dogs had its faults, and a lot of, but I really liked Watch Dogs. But again, give me a third-person open-world city-type base that's mission-based type game, I'm gonna probably like it. Mm-hmm. GTA, Saints Row, Red Dead, Mafia. Yeah,
I'm on board. So I really, really liked Watch Dogs. That being said, story, whoop-de-doo, it's a revenge story. I didn't care about the story, didn't care about Aiden Pierce. The mechanics of bouncing around and doing the hacking stuff, that was interesting. So I like the idea of with Watch Dogs 2 of this more personality, like you said, of the main character.
A lot. I mean, it's like it looks like 2 completely different games.
Yeah. But the idea of the hacking and stuff being there, it looks cool. The gameplay looks really neat. They said they've improved on the car control, which the car is controlled not that great in the original Watch Dogs. Once you eventually learn how to drive them, though, you do fine. But the first time you stepped into a car, it was a big deal. Then they ended with Steep, the new IP, which I didn't bother showing the trailer for that. Whoop-de-doo, a snowboarding game. Hey.
Yeah.
So moving on, we've got PlayStation's conference, which opened with God of War. Chris.
It looks interesting. It does. The Norse mythology, I'm not quite sure I'm feeling it, just because it was a Greek mythology. The way God of War 3 ended, I was expecting more of a direct sequel. This seems to be years later, so I'm excited because there's a new God of War game, period, on a console system other than like a PSP. So I'm excited for that, but, the story, I'm curious. I'm very curious about, how you go from Greek to Norse mythology. It's not supposed to be a reboot. It's an actual sequel. So, like I said, I'm kind of up in the air on it.
The one thing I took away from that trailer, Kratos can raise a really respectable son. He has said sir and please and I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it's not the Kratos we're used to either. No blades of chaos either. Nothing attached to him. He's still got the paint though. That's what I'm saying. He's still got the, the ashes, blended on his skin. So Where are the blades of chaos?
So they're talking about from the trailer, or from the gameplay that you see, seeing the open, you've discovered this new area, which very reminded me of Tomb Raider, the idea of Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raiders, of exploring an area, it leads you to this new area. So is it an open worldish game? Is that what they like?
God of War was very linear.
God of War was here's your thing, go from here to here, and destroy everything in your path.
That was the only thing I disliked about God of War was the fact it was great graphics, great story, lots of button smashing, but there was you're only going to get so many orbs because you could only go this path and kill so many enemies. So it's not like you could go back and grind per se to get a lot of orbs to get your upgrades on it. It was very, very linear. I would like a more open world God of War. It's just, again, a fan of the series. It's Greek versus Norse, and I'm like, they're going more Norse. I'm like, well, what happened to Zeus? What happened with the Titans? What happened?
Everyone died.
Well, I'm like, okay, if you're going to do that, that's a reboot.
Yeah.
And they're saying this is not a reboot, this is a sequel. Well, if it's a sequel, then you can't ignore what happened in the first three. So, I'm leaving my judgment out there till the game comes out, because if you acknowledge the first three and make a nice bridge to what happens, maybe I can get on board. But for right now, I'm like, okay, it feels more of a reboot than a sequel to me.
That's what I thought it looked like when I first saw it too. But
all right. Not. So God of War. I'm a God of War fan. I'll probably end up picking this one up. I'm curious to see more about it and what it actually is. So we got Sony Ben's new game, Days Gone, which apparently was also called Dead Don't Ride at one point in its development. Look, another zombie game. Hey.
This is the E3 of zombies. I mean, the zombie thing has just come back in full force this year, it seems like.
The gameplay trailer that they showed at the end looks cool. I doubt you had that much ammo on you in the actual game. It looks cool, the idea of the amount of zombies on the screen, etc., etc., etc. Will I play it? Probably not. It's not a game that makes me go, oh man, I can't wait to have my PlayStation 4 turned on to play this game for the exclusivity of it. Oh man, that was a nice transition to the one I would be, but then Last Guardian is the next game.
I was thinking ooh, this, it's Last Guardian.
Last Guardian, the PS3 that was.
Yeah. That game that still looks like a PlayStation 3 game. There, I said it. I'm
surprised this game is even still... Because they can't... There's no way they're making their money back of how long this game has been.
No. But that one's got a date at least of October 25th.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that are excited for it, so I'm glad that they can play it.
At some point, you need to put the nail in the coffin. I feel like that's what they're doing with Last Guardian. It's like...
Just get it out.
Just we're done. We're done.
Something.
It is what it is. If it makes some money, yay. If it doesn't, we're done with it. Just get it out there.
So then, but the game that I was trying to transition to, of the game that I'm excited for, the reason I want a PlayStation 4 and to turn it on would be Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's the reason I'm getting a PlayStation 4.
I have that game pre-ordered. Probably the next time I turn on my PlayStation 4 will be when that game comes out, which is February 28th.
It just looks like a Witcher type game, which is fine by me, but the thing that gets me is the why is there all this technology around? It's like they talk about civilizations and people that are there now, which are almost pretty much cavemen, talk about the old ones like us, like something happened. Can't wait to see that story.
Yeah. I think it looks cool. Chris, thoughts?
It looks interesting. Like I said, I don't have a PS4. Don't plan to get a PS4, so, I'll live vicariously through you guys.
Sounds good. I need to pause for a sec. Hey, and we're back again, because these glasses are really big.
I just want to say, I've been fine this whole time. I've been sitting here in my little side over here.
Yeah. Good job, Andrew. So moving on, we had Quantic Dream's new game, Detroit Become Human.
Interesting.
That seems... I'm not excited about that. Very story-driven. Doesn't seem very good gameplay, but the story is very intriguing. Like the decision-making kind of thing.
Which is what Quantic Dream's known for.
It's one of those that I'd either borrow or pay half price. But, like I said, gameplay-wise, it doesn't seem like it's earth-shattering, but the concept is really good.
Yeah.
I like that story that it's telling.
Yeah, which that is a PlayStation 4 exclusive as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like the idea of it. Andrew keeps getting text messages.
His phone's on vibrate.
I hear it. That's,
Oh, you heard it vibrate?
Yes.
Whoops.
So, looks cool, but it'll probably be a game I'll pick up as well. Another excuse to play my PlayStation.
I'll get it when
Again.
it's on sale.
Whenever it comes out.
Or I'll borrow it from you.
Then we probably do that. Then they went into a deal showing off the PlayStation VR games. Resident Evil 7 they showed can be completely played in VR.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out January 24th, 2017. PSVR is coming out October 13th. They have 50 games in development for the PlayStation VR.
Quote unquote games.
Yeah, games.
Toilet paper.
They showed They showed trailers for some games. Some Farpoint. If you have Star Wars Battlefront, there is a X-Wing mission game that you can play. I kind of, since I don't own it on Star Wars Battlefront on PlayStation 4, I want to play that mission. So hopefully I can buy the game for that mission for $5 or whatever. And hey, cool! I got a Star Wars. I got to fly an X-Wing.
Or you can find somebody with a battle pod. I found on vacation last week. We found a battle pod at a random go-kart place. Miniature golf place had a battle pod, Star Wars battle pod, and it was a lot of fun. I gotta admit to play that.
They showed off there's a Batman Arkham VR that's actually being made by Rocksteady. From people that have played it, they say it's actually really cool, and one of the things that will be there at launch for PlayStation VR. They showed Final Fantasy 15 as parts of that can be played in VR, but
Fallout 4 too.
not for PlayStation VR, but that's for Vive.
On PC.
So they showed some stuff. Then we moved on, and they transitioned randomly. All this VR stuff.
Hey, Call of Duty.
Then here's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And it's like, is this a VR game?
I actually had a guy at work. He's like, "Did you see that Call of Duty VR thing?" I'm like, "I don't think they did," but that night I went and checked. It's like,
it's not VR.
Yeah, that's.
It's just it flowed right in with the other stuff to make you think it was going to be a VR. Yeah. So it was really weird, and it was like, no, hey, here's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Another trailer.
No trailer or something along those lines. Gameplay looks cool, but they always have cool.
They
set pieces and demos at E3 that, I mean, Infinity Ward's last one of Call of Duty Ghosts was awful.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting Infinity Ward's next game. Mm-mm. They gotta prove to me that they've learned from their mistakes and have gone and basically just copy Treyarch.
Yeah.
Just use Treyarch's code. Whatever it is. Just copy Treyarch. So, the concepts are there. I'm sure it'll sell millions of copies like it always does.
No, the limited edition
Yeah.
will sell millions of copies because it comes with Modern Warfare 4. And you know how many people I've talked to that are only getting it just for Modern Warfare 4?
That's crazy.
There's a lot
Call of
of
Duty
people.
4 Modern Warfare. I love Modern Warfare, the first one.
I bet you in 6 months after the game was released, they'll probably
They gotta find a way to release that separately.
Because that's just cash left. Because I'll pay $20 for that.
Oh yeah, I would too.
That's just
a
cash
lot
on
of
the
people
table.
will.
But I'm not paying $80
But they're not.
for the
I mean,
limited
they're going to be smart. They're going to start. Get the Uber edition of the game you don't want now to play it, and then 6 months down the road, okay, now we've sold as many of those limited editions. Do you know how many hardened editions and how many prestige editions over the past 10 years? Where I work, I've had left over.
Oh yeah.
Show up on Amazon. It's because you can't give them away.
Yeah.
I mean, what you sell day one is what you sell.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're stuck because nobody wants to pay for a RC car or something. I mean, trunk full of stuff. Although my mini fridge is bad.
I still love my mini fridge.
That one's actually
I haven't
useful.
actually got mine hooked on yet. I gotta find the perfect spot for it.
Oh, still haven't set it up yet?
No, I get shot down every time. I'm like, it's gonna go good here. No. I'm like, it'll look good right there.
They went in and talked about Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and Warped are being remastered for the PS4.
Now, if
And
you're a
that it's
PlayStation person, that's a pretty big deal.
And it's coming to Skylanders. Crash is coming to Skylanders in October 2017.
He's gonna be a sensei in the new Imagineers.
I'm curious to see how they make that
I don't know
game
what that
look.
means. Yeah.
Like how they've because PlayStation 1 was very blocky. I remember Crash Bandicoot when I played this, like, very blocky, but,
Well, so was what? My first PlayStation game was Sub-Zero Anthologies. Mortal Kombat Anthology
Kombat
Sub-Zero.
one.
Wow.
That was my first PlayStation game.
It's a random PlayStation game.
It really was.
I think the first game I got for PlayStation was Off-Road, Test Drive Off-Road something.
I don't remember what my first PlayStation game was. Metal Gear Solid was in there.
Yeah, of course.
Classic.
I remember playing the demo for that a lot.
Now, Metal Gear Solid 2 was probably the first game I played on my PS2. Which, speaking of, they also did a Lego Star Wars trailer. Whoop-de-doo.
Random.
Because it was like that game comes out, I think, next week. Or it's out next week, I think.
Just
it comes
something
out.
random. Did you know that there's a full version of Time Splitters 2 in Homefront?
No?
What?
I found this out. The new Homefront.
Yeah.
There's a area where you go. It's this Easter egg. When you go, there's an arena.
Side tangent real quick.
Yeah, just a side tangent. But there it is. The app. It's the full version of Time Splitters 2.
The full version?
Full version. Like you go in a corner. It's a black corner. Hit X, and then all of a sudden the Time Splitters logo comes up, and you can play the entire Time Splitters 2 game, which is near and dear to me because that's where my namesake has come from, like Nova. But I loved Time Splitters and Time Splitters 2, so just thought I'd throw that out there because they did that.
That's a really
We talked about Homefront the last podcast.
Yes.
Briefly about it, but
because that game tanked.
yeah.
Not bad, dude.
But I'm like, I almost want to play it just to get that.
Anyway, so transitioning back to PlayStation's conference, coming off of Crash, they had to where you can create your own Skylander, whatever that means.
The Imaginaries.
Okay.
Imaginators. You have senseis.
Imaginators.
You buy the figures. They're senseis, and then you create your own Skylanders, which we thought the last thing of Skylanders, because normally the racing game is the death of a series.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, typically is, which is what the Superchargers were. But they've got another series out where you can create your own, and you have to buy the sensei. And once you buy the sensei and you get the sensei that has the certain powers, then like within whatever the sensei lets you do, you can create. And Crash Bandicoot's a sensei in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting. So they did a Lego Star Wars thing and talked about, and then Hideo Kojima came on stage and showed
And
off.
just like dropped something and just walked away, and we're all like,
Yeah,
WTF.
he's like, check out this new trailer for my game, Death Stranding, that has Norman Reedus in it. That
it's not going to look like the final game.
He's naked and holding a baby. That's somehow, I guess, he gave birth
Dead
to.
fish.
And some dead fish and crabs and whales and stuff.
He does. He still hasn't chosen an engine for this game yet.
Yes.
And he's like, well, let's make a trailer anyway.
He made a trailer to show off the potential for one of the two engines that he's planning on doing. So if you think you're seeing that game before 2019 at the earliest, good luck.
I'm calling 2020. Yeah, that's what I bet.
Yeah, for Hideo Kojima,
Yeah.
2020 sounds more believable.
Yeah.
So, and then...
It's good that you could tell that Sony's definitely given them free reign to do whatever he wants, which is great. But hopefully they have like a tight leash. It's like, all right, this is when the game needs to be out.
Then he needs to make Silent Hills and quit playing.
That was... he's not with the company that owns the rights to Silent Hill.
I know. It's just very sad. I was very excited when I originally heard about that, and very sad when I heard.
Oh, another random side note. I finally saw what PT is.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That game was scary.
Have you...
Yes, I've seen it played.
Sync? Thing into sync? Oh, anyway, that's...
I've seen
I'll tell you
I saw
after.
Rooster Teeth's Let's Play of it, which was really funny. There was a cat meowing. I can hear it in the microphone. Hi, kitty.
Hey.
It's okay. Won't blame you, H&M. It's okay. After that, we got that Insomniac Games is making a Spider-Man game. That's PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Yay!
I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man. I loved him in Captain America Civil War.
I hadn't seen it. I don't plan on seeing it.
Don't spoil it either because I still need to see it.
Anyways, Spider-Man's
Good
best part.
guys fighting good guys. I'm not interested in it.
It's a great movie. Anyways.
Doesn't matter. Good guys fighting good. You know what's supposed to happen? Good guys fight bad guys. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what you did the first, all these other movies, but not, hey, you know what? We're just bored. Let's just make the good guys fight the good guys just for the it. I mean, come on.
Now, sensing
Third, maybe?
somewhere in there, at least 2.
Don't get me mad.
I'm just going to sit over here because that movie was fantastic. Anyways.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyways, back to the game. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. The idea that Insomniac is making it is using Sunset Overdrive's engine, supposedly.
Oh, really?
Which I love Sunset Overdrive.
That was a pretty game, too.
Yep. So, and a lot of stuff from the trailer is actual gameplay footage from the game.
Oh, is it?
That was from
Is it open world?
They haven't said much. I'm assuming if it's using Insomniac's, if it's using Sunset
A
Overdrive's
Spider-Man
engine.
open world game would be awesome. Like I said, the last one I played was on the... I can't remember the last one I played, but it was close to it wasn't really open world.
Yeah.
But it was close. It might have been the Shadows of Time, the one where he goes back in time. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I've had a lot of fun playing a lot of Spider-Man games, so an open world Spider-Man game would be intriguing.
Exactly. And especially one being made by a team that has the pedigree of Insomniac.
Yeah.
So you know they're going to make something good.
It's kind of thing. And then they ended the conference with a live demo of Days Gone, which I thought was kind of weird that they showed it in the second trailer, and then here's
Something
Days Gone
had
at
to
the
have been
end.
cut from that conference. Something had to have been cut.
As some people thought, it was like, maybe they cut Neo.
Mm-hmm.
Their Neo, showing off the PlayStation Neo, because they realized that Microsoft's is Scorpio blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
But I digress, whatever it is. It was still a good conference. My biggest takeaway from that is that who knows when these games are coming out, because they didn't give dates for basically anything. Maybe 2017. Those are 2017, 2018 games that they showed. Or in the case of Hideo Kojima, where they show off a game that he doesn't even have an engine for yet. Maybe we'll see that in 2020. That's a PlayStation 5 game, for who knows.
So next year when we're doing this E3 conference, we're going to be talking about some of the same games again.
Probably. At least, like I said, for me, for Microsoft, again, I'm a Microsoft fanboy, so I'm just gonna say that. But Microsoft showed games that have dates that are coming this year.
Yeah.
Right. There was more tangible stuff with Microsoft's conference than
You can see it in the near
PlayStation.
future.
Sony had a nice, frilly show, and then they were like, "Oh, look at all these things that are going to come eventually." Where at least Microsoft said, "Here's what's coming realistically in the next year. Here's what we're going to have."
Whereas Sony has showed off stuff that it's like the games that had dates were The Last Guardian had October 25th.
The PS3 that's now PS4.
Yeah, sure, somehow. Horizon Zero Dawn has a date of February 28th.
Which is the one
game
that's legit.
And then Resident Evil 7, but that's coming to Xbox One as well. That's a January 24th game. And they dated PlayStation VR. Everything else didn't have a date.
One thing about the Microsoft press conference, no Crackdown.
Yep.
I was disappointed.
No
to see.
Crackdown this year. I was disappointed in no Borderlands 3. No talk of it.
I don't think they're probably gonna. They'll probably talk about it next. Because I have a friend at work that is like a huge Borderlands fan also. He's like, "You think they're gonna do anything about Borderlands? This like they just released Battleborn.
Yeah,
they're not gonna say anything this year.
Well,
at least.
they said that Battleborn was their current project, and that the next thing that they were going to work on was they. I mean, so why would you before E3 announce and say, "Hey, the very next thing we're going to do is..."
Because everyone knows that they don't want Battleborn. They're like, "Where's Borderlands?" And
yeah,
like,
and
we're
that's
making
pretty
Battleborn.
much. It's kind of what we were at, and that and there was no mention. I mean, we talked a little bit about Rockstar. No Red Dead, no remaster, no
I wish
mention.
that Red Dead would have been there, but at the same time, it was a pop dream because
Yeah.
Rockstar, they do what they want when they want.
Yeah.
Cat just attacked some blinds. So anyways, we reached the end. E3 was a good show. There's a lot of games that are excited that were coming out. Most games I'm excited for is Mafia 3 and Watch Dogs 2. Those are my two anticipated. And a close third would be Titanfall 2. Realistically, the games that are coming this year.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, anything that you're excited for?
Oh, you put me on the spot because I wasn't ready. This year?
Well, let me go ahead and take that one
go
from you,
ahead.
Andrew, so while you can research that. Final Fantasy and Dishonored 2. Two of which I'm extremely for. But you did not mention Rise of Iron for Destiny. And we can't have a podcast without talking about Destiny. I mean, I just...
Check my watch.
Check your
We're
watch.
at an hour on this part, and part one was 20 minutes. We're at an hour and 20 minutes now.
I'm just saying, I'm excited for it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm excited for
Okay.
it. Rise of Iron,
Rise of Iron's coming out.
Dishonored 2,
I might
and Final
put-
Fantasy 15.
Yeah. I might
Well-
put Chris to work and actually level up my character because I don't
Hey,
feel like going through the Rise.
I'm not above that.
I don't feel like going through that grind anymore, so I'll just make Chris do it. Andrew. Andrew.
I just lost it. I just blanked.
Andrew.
My mind just.
Or I
blanked
gave
out.
you a few extra seconds. I
He
even brought up
gave you
Destiny.
time.
Watch Dogs 2. That's what it was.
I said Watch
You
Dogs
said
2.
Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, but it's mine. I'm excited for that game too.
But like I said it, and then you got completely distracted by the idea that
So,
You
all right,
couldn't think
let
of
me,
also
all right,
Watch
so
Dogs?
let me ask you a
Panicked,
question.
okay.
Why Watch Dogs 2? I mean, honestly, I didn't give it as much a chance, but it seemed like a poor man's Grand Theft Auto when I played it.
for the idea of an open world that's taking place in San Francisco, and I enjoyed the idea of the gameplay stuff that the original Watch Dogs had of I could go into this world and do this mission without ever actually having to step foot in that world. Like in that building per se. I could bounce through the cameras and execute everything that I needed to do. And they've expanded on that.
Forgot Recore was coming this year. I changed it to Recore.
There you go. So, and those type of games, they speak to me. Like if you're going, like I said, if you make a third person open world that's kind of more modernish, that's set in, that's very mission based, like go
So, are you
here.
going to be on board for Crackdown 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
But games that are Grand Theft Auto, that are Saints Row, that are Mafia, that are Red Dead. Exactly.
You know.
Those type of games, I fall into that rabbit hole. I did that with the original Watch Dogs. Was the original Watch Dogs perfect? No. Was it a great game? By most people's standards, no. But did I have fun playing it? Yes. Did I enjoy the game? Yes. So the idea of taking that and making the next iteration, as some people have said, they're trying to compare it to Assassin's Creed, making the jump to Assassin's Creed 2, where 2 fixed all the problems that 1 had. So if Watch Dogs 2 can fix the problems that 1 had, but keep the fun things that the original Watch Dogs had, you might have something special with Watch Dogs 2. So we'll see. I'm excited for that game for that reason.
What's the Recore?
So Recore.
Yeah, it just looks like a fun. The platforming looks fun, and the third person. Actually, the combat looks kind of fun with the little jetpacking around third person stuff. And they still have robots that they haven't released yet. I think there's like 2 or 3 more robots that are still.
I get a robot dog, so that makes me excited. So we reached the end. I think we're at an hour and 30 minutes, somewhere in there. At the
First
end,
annual E3.
yeah. Something first annual, second annual. It's first ever, and then second annual. I think that's how it goes. But whatever. It's our E3 show. We appreciate you listening. At the beginning of this, you should have heard our new intro music. That I will give a shout to. That my buddy at work, Matt Comer, was kind enough to make for us for free. Which is very good.
Yes.
But yeah, I went over to his house. We knocked that out in an hour.
Cool.
Of figuring out how to mic up everything and record it and figuring it out. And I think it came out great. Kind of fits for our style, casual, laid back type gameplay. So, Matt, we really appreciate it. We think you did a great job, and we'll keep using that. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we've reached the end. If you go to VAHOMAPodcast.com, you can find all of our previous episodes there. We have a shop now. So you can show off this fancy T-shirt that I'm wearing. Oh, I can't show off.
Or the
camera.
drink glass that we're drinking.
Or the drink glass. Or the keychains that we have. Oh.
Merchandise.
It's actually, anyways, cafepress.com/VAHOMA Podcast shop. Or if you go to VAHOMAPodcast.com, there's a link at the top with all the other stuff. It's labeled as shop. So if for some reason that you want to support us, because we actually do get a cut of some of that sales, hey, we appreciate it. It helps us out. But yeah, we appreciate it. You can follow us on Twitter, VAHOMA_podcast. I'm VH_Annihilator, MetalBlade85, HankNova316, even though he never uses the thing. So we appreciate it. Thank you for listening, and bye.
Bye.
Bye.